Laugh for the health of it. Presenting comic Debbie Ennis.
I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. I really do appreciate it, and I do have a packed house. That's really good. I do want to remind you the old saying, you get what you pay for. So according to that box over there, all I have to do is be as good as a can of peas and a box of rice-a-roni. Did anybody here have to get a babysitter tonight? It'd be really good because I can't see a thing out there. I remember my days when I had to get a babysitter when my daughter was younger. And I always hoped that I would get a teenager as opposed to having to rely on my husband. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a really great guy. But when I would get a teenager, I would get out of the house a little bit quicker. Her list would go something like this. I have my cell phone on me, call me if you need me. Snack time's about 7 o'clock, bedtime 7:30. And I'd be out the door. My husband's list, a little longer, a little more detailed. It would go something like this. I got my cell phone on me. Don't you dare call me. Figure it out for yourself. Sticking a spoon in a pint of Ben & Jerry's and putting sprinkles on it is not an appropriate snack for a 3-year-old. And my personal favorite, bedtime is not when you see my headlights coming down the driveway. My husband and I are very different. I'm an energy, sensing, positive thinker. And my husband, well, he's a typical guy. I'm the type of person who carries around a reusable shopping bag because I myself am going to save the world one bag at a time. Right? My husband, on the other hand, thinks that if God had wanted us to be a little bit more earth-friendly, he would have designed us a little better, like having a pouch, like a kangaroo. He said he himself could have saved 2 acres of the rainforest by putting the beer bottles directly in his pouch as opposed to using paper. Now, when my daughter was younger, kids are very intuitive. They pick up on how you are, and she, at a very young age, realized how Dad was and how Mom was and how we saw the world. And every night at dinner time, we get together and we talk about our day. So one time, she must have been about 3 or 4, and she comes home and says that a little boy at school had taken her shovel from her. So she turned to her father and said, so I hit him and I grabbed it back. And then she looked at me and said, but Mommy, I sent him positive energy so he could find another shovel to play with. It's been said that having only one child doesn't really qualify you as a parent. And I do agree. Your more refined skills come in when you have 2 or 3. I mean, it's really not very difficult to figure out who wrote on the living room wall, who left the front door open, who painted the cat's tail red, when you have one kid. Or, although the front door might be difficult if your husband's home. But I have had many sleepless nights. I have had plenty of clothes. I've had plenty of sleepless nights, looked like hell for many sleepless nights, and had many clothes ruined from my daughter's imitation of John Belushi in Animal House. Who here enjoys infants? And again, I can't see a thing out there, so assuming somebody has their hands up. Yeah, not me. I do not enjoy infants at all. I can't understand how someone could be around a non-speaking, sleep-deprived, totally dependent individual. That's like living with my ex-husband. And then when they become toddlers, we're not talking it's not any better, it gets a little worse. Now you got a mobile, foreign-speaking picky eater. Again, a lot like my ex-husband. I'm into teenagers. I have an inherent need to feel stupid and out of touch. And teenagers pretty much feel this on a daily basis. But teens, being the positive thinker that I am, I see the good in teens. I really do. They help keep you on your toes mentally and physically. And who can't benefit from that, right? And as I'm getting older, I can really benefit from that. So I would say, I tell people, forget luminosity. Debate your child's latest hairstyles or clothing choices. Or better yet, discuss the proper use of electronics. That alone should gain you 25 IQ points. And physically, they keep you on your toes as well. I don't go to the gym anymore. About 6 months ago, I stopped going to the gym. I just do laps around the obstacle course in my daughter's bedroom. Also, my calves and my biceps have never been better. I'm constantly reaching up, slapping her on the back of the head, saying, have you lost your mind? I'm very serious about not liking. I shouldn't say that word. I was always afraid of being my daughter as an infant, and I also just wasn't inclined to figure out what she wanted to say. Just talk to me, tell me. It's like people open the refrigerator and say, "What do you want? Juice, milk, leftover steak from last night? What do you want?" So in order to get through my daughter's non-speaking years, I taught her sign language. True story. She knew, by the time she was 10 months old, she knew 65 signs. Most of them clean. What they don't tell you when you are reading the books and getting the video is just like when you're teaching a child how to talk, you have to watch what you say. When you're teaching someone how to do sign language, you got to watch what you do, right? I'm Italian. That kid was doomed right from the very beginning. So one day my mother comes over, and I don't know if anybody out there is Italian, but my mother comes over and my daughter gets frustrated. She goes like this. And I said to my mom, she's hungry. And I'm thinking, she ain't buying it. That was her favorite sign when we were kids. So then my mother-in-law was over one time, and Megan went like this to her. And I said, "Oh, that means, how do you do, She wasn't Italian. She bought it. My mother-in-law, before she passed this past January, and my mother-in-law moved in with us. And I'm still trying to figure out what's worse. The fact that she lived with us for 10 years, or the fact that I was the one who invited her to move in. I am convinced this happened because I had my daughter when I was older. I was kind of set in my ways. I was stubborn. I didn't want to change my routine. So I wanted to continue taking Pilates classes and going to the library. I can never say that with a straight face. I wanted to go out drinking with my friends. So what was happening was my husband lived away at the time. True story, he lived away, so he only came home on the weekends. And I was working full-time, taking care of an infant. Did I tell you that infants remind me of my ex-husband? Yeah. So in my postpartum craziness, I figured, I'll ask for her to move in. She can watch the baby at night, and then I can go out, enjoy myself. I am convinced that this would not have happened if I was a teenager when I had my daughter. I just would have strapped her on my back and went to the bar and take her to the bar with me. I've always wondered if other people are as overwhelmed as I am sometimes at raising my daughter. I can't be the only one who wakes up in the morning thinking, maybe she'll get off at the wrong bus stop today. I think, I gotta admit that I just sometimes don't know what I'm doing. I just have no idea what parenting. And, wow, that felt quite refreshing. I liked admitting that. They should have a group, like Parents Anonymous. Hi, my name is Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
And I'm a confused and exhausted mom. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just try to get through every day, inflicting as little emotional and psychological long-lasting pain on my daughter as I possibly can. Unlike what my mother did to me. As I've gotten over, I've kind of given my mom a little slack. I kind of, let her go a little bit. I believe that there was a conspiracy. I believe there's a conspiracy against kids when I was younger. And all you have to do is look at your local playground in the 1970s, okay? The playgrounds now are unbelievable. But when we were back there, I'm going to say we, I'm sort of assuming you're about the same age as I am. When we were younger, we didn't have those nice fluffy chips that they have down there, or that rubber that they had. We had grass if we were lucky. After 2 weeks, it was solid dirt. A scraped knee, or an elbow was a given anytime you walked on a playground. And some of the equipment, think about some of the equipment they had. So, slide, pretty innocent, right? But nowadays, you can hold your kid, you go down the slide. In my day, if it was foggy, you couldn't see the top of that slide. Right? 17 deep, going up, walking up. You take your juice box and on the way up because you're exhausted because you can't, you're walking up there, and it's mental. So I'm from Jersey, 95-degree day, you are burned all the way down, right? So they're coming down. Now again, this one, oh look, the Johnny, move over, your sister's coming down. No, we had to say, hey, watch out, I'm coming, because you'd be shooting down that thing and knocking everybody out of the way. And you don't even need wax paper. I personally had built-in wax paper. I had polyester pants. I was just shooting down that thing. Then, this is my most least favorite. I have to know the man. I know it's a guy, because a woman would never do this to a child. The man who invented that spin thing, right? In the beginning of the year, you go, there's two ways. You either spin it, go around like this, or you run. Most of the people ran. So in the beginning, you're just running like this. By the end of the year, you're holding it up here because you're running in a ditch. Because it's a ditch around the thing, right? You're lucky if you get tossed off like a piece of paper. You might get scratched, maybe chip a tooth, right? The other thing is, other than that, you swung off and you're puking your lunch up in the bushes and you never live that down with your friends. That's the worst part of it. Then we have the seesaw. Again, seemingly a very innocent thing. Again, nowadays it's a little thing and you're just holding little Susie and she's going up and down, right? Not in my day. This thing was so far up. I lived in North Jersey. On a clear day, when you're up, you can see the Empire State Building from my place. It's like, oh, there it is. Okay. And sometimes it'd be very nice. It's cooler up there and wonderful. Inevitably, you'd be up. The school bell would ring, that kid would take off, and you go shooting down like a rock. There are a lot of people out there that were never able to become parents because of that ride. This one, the monkey, I remember Monday morning we all came in and they had the monkey bars. And it was amazing. We loved it. But we lost 12 kids in 1 week. Broken bones, busted knees, everything. It was mayhem. That one was just horrible. But none of that compares to the barnyard animals on a spring. You know what I'm talking about? I never understood, but there was like cows and pigs and chickens and ducks and all that kind of stuff. I don't understand that, but these big springs, at first they're really cool. You're just enjoying to get your little stirrups there and you're going back and forth. It's a really good ride. About 6 months though, the springs loosen up, right? So you're really going. Now, when you're a kid on a playground in my school, the cow was good. You could trust the cow. That was a good one. The pig, if you're a little adventurous, only the 6th graders and up went on the rooster. That sucker, that was so loose. I mean, I don't know why, it was maybe the popular one or whatever, but that was like one of those mechanical bulls. It went all the way around, up and down, right? It was all over the place. And you just knew not to do that. Well, we had a new girl one year. She came in, she was about 2 days in school. Her name was Susie Bigelow. And Susie Bigelow, very nice young girl, and she decided that she was going to ride on one of these things. We were really good kids. We were really good. I had a good group of kids. So, and Susie Bigelow was what you would call heavy set. So she's walking towards the rooster, and we're like, and we're good kids. The way I figure is that week we had a lot of those standardized testing, and we were just tired of filming in dots, so we kind of wanted to see a little action. So nobody said anything to Susie Bigelow. Susie Bigelow gets on the ride. At first, she's feeling pretty good. Yeah, she's having a good time. There's a tipping point when you hit that rooster. Susie Bigelow hit it fast and hard. She went down. She had her little feet were locked in. She's holding on. Her thighs grabbed her legs. She had her honey up in the air. Did I mention she wore a skirt that day? There was a hush over the playground. It was like watching a bad accident on the side of the road. We were mesmerized and horrified at the same time. We never saw Susie Bigelow again. When the playground aide and the principal extracted her from the rooster, her mother came and got her, and we think that she went to a private school where they had better equipment than we did. Are you kidding me? That is my favorite saying. Anybody who really knows me well probably says, yes, I overuse it. But it's so universal, it works for everything. I mean, imagine your husband comes home and he says, you got a raise. Are you kidding me? Right? Then your wife comes home or comes in and she says, I spent $700 at Kohl's. Are you kidding me? Your son gets suspended from school. Are you kidding me? My personal favorite, when your 45-year-old sister says she's pregnant with her third child. Are you kidding me? Now, with this phrase, you could always add an extra word for emphasis. Like the time I backed into my husband's 6-month-old Dodge Charger. Are you freaking kidding me? And that is a true story. So, this phrase came to me, I was 9 years old, and my mother called me up to my room and she asked me to, she wanted to show me how to make my bed properly with hospital corners. Is anybody familiar with the sick ritual? Yeah. Okay. So I'm 9 years old and I'm just watching this, and I just innocently asked, I said, so why does it have to be so neat? And she said, what will people think? And that's when it hit me. Are you kidding me? Who are these people? What are they doing in my bedroom? but this added, like I had a fantasy when I was younger that my parents would go away. Not get killed or maimed or hurt, and just go away. Come on, I know some of you have the same fantasy. I'm not the only one here. So, in a way of my mind, I'd be watching the Brady Bunch, and those people would knock on my door and demand to see my bed sheets. I would take them to my room, I would throw back the bedspread, they would gasp in the horror of the ugliness of it all, and take the mother away. As some of you may know or may have figured out by me talking this evening, I am not a Massachusetts native. I am from New Jersey, exit 2 for those who really need to know. Everybody always asks. We moved here about, actually 9 years ago, 2 days ago, so we've been here about 9 years. And when we first moved up here, we almost didn't move to Barre. Barre was where we first encountered those signs you have all over your state, thickly settled. And I said, oh no, how rude. I said, big boned, heavy set, thickly settled, it all means the same thing to me. I'm like, I am not living outside in a house with a sign outside that says thickly settled. They're going to remind me every time I walk out of my house. I'm thinking, it was basically the same concept when my husband and I were looking for a car. He wanted a Honda Accord XL so bad, and I said, there is no way that I am having the letters XL plastered on the back end of anything I own. I don't care how good the car is. So you have to understand, I'm 3/4 Italian, all right? Most of my family is thickly settled, and that includes the guys. I want you to picture this. You got a can of Play-Doh. Take off the top. Dump the Play-Doh here. Take a gobstopper. Put the gobstopper right on top. That's what the women look like in my family by the time they reach 50. I'm thinking, there is absolutely no way that I'm going to invite my great Aunt Josephine over, a little 4-foot nothing, over to my house. She'd see that sign, stick a hard salami in her purse, that she carries around just in case an antipasta breaks out, and beat me with it. And then, when someone, seriously, I was like, what is this sign? So someone explained to me, oh, no, it means that the houses are closer together. I said, are you kidding me? Have you people been to New Jersey? By that same standard, the signs in my old hometown should read obnoxiously settled. Oh my God. So, But some people don't understand that you call it, it was DCF, I think up here now it's DSS. Well, for a while, New Jersey didn't have a Department of Family and Children. We didn't need it. Basically, if your kid was acting up, you open your window, your neighbor would reach in, slap your kid on the back of the head, you shut the window, and you go home with breakfast. Houses are really that close together. When I first came up here, true story, my daughter was going to be going into kindergarten, and one of the things I was worried about is how are they going to teach her how to say the letter R? I said to my husband, are they going to actually say R? They say ah? Like, how are they going to do this? But then I found there was a little bit more to worry about, because it's the terminology that you folks use. So one of the ones I was in, I was somewhere, and someone ordered a grinder, and I'm looking, and I'm like, grinder? I said, isn't that what you do in the back of a 57 Chevy when you were 17 years old? I mean, it's a sub, folks. It looks like a sub. I don't know where you get the word grinder in it. The other thing is, I saw it said triple decker, $60,000, and I'm thinking, oh my God! And because a triple decker to me is a sandwich with 3 pieces of bread. That's going to be one hell of a sandwich. A triple decker to me is a triplex. That's what we call those. The other one that got me, I was looking for a church when I first came up here. And the address on the website was the Common. We don't have these things in Jersey, so I was driving around for 45 minutes looking for Common Street before someone filled me in on that little gem. The Common? Actually now, the website of my church actually has the address. I said, excuse me, you need to put an address on here. Save some people some trouble. When my daughter, when we first came, she was going to kindergarten, and one morning I was making her lunch, and I decided to put in 2 juice boxes so she could have enough to drink. And she said to me, she says, no, Mommy, I don't need a juice box, I'll drink from the bubbler. I stopped and looked, and I said, the bubbler? I said, sweet, what do you mean? And she said, drink from the bubbler, Mommy. And I said, okay. And I really started, I want to tell you, I honestly got started to panic, because I'm thinking, she's young, she hasn't been in that many restrooms. I'm picturing her going into the toilet, flushing it, it's bubbling up, and I'm thinking, so I said, Megan, explain to me exactly what you're drinking from. And she said, Mommy, you push the button and it comes in an upside down view. I said, oh, a water fountain. And she said, I swear, she was a low hands on her hip, she goes, Mrs. Sheldon calls it a bubbler. She's a teacher, she's smarter than you. Now I knew when my daughter reached about 17 years, when she reached a teenager, that my IQ would automatically drop. I had no idea that moving from Jersey to New Massachusetts would speed it up. Thank you, Mrs. Sheldon. Another true story. We first moved up here and we're looking for a place to live. And it came down to 2 houses, one in Templeton and one in Barre. So my husband and I had gone to Templeton on this one afternoon, it was probably like a Thursday afternoon, and we wanted to learn a little bit about the town, what the townspeople were like, what the schools were like, what the crime rate, that kind of thing. So we decided, what was open was a library, so we decided to go to the library. And these 2 little sweet ladies were in the library, so we said, we'd like to know a little bit about the town, the people, the schools, the crime rate. And one of them says, the crime rate is very low, and what's really good, the crime rate is really low, and we're really lucky because we shot 2 police officers. And I looked at my husband, and I'm thinking, what? And the lady said, yeah, they've been shot since last year. and I'm looking at him, he's looking at me, and I'm thinking, oh dear God. And I said to her, and she saw me, and she saw my face, I said, I gotta say, she says, you're really calm for having 2 police officers shot last year. And she says, no, we're shot. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And she goes, no, short. I'm like, oh, you're short 2 police officers. We moved to Barre. I always thought, when I was younger, you're a new mom, and I think, people, adults in general, are always telling kids no. Don't do this, no. And I figured, I want to use that word. I want to be a little bit more proactive with my daughter and have her hear different things. So, and I said, I had that in my mind. So she was about 3 years old, and she comes over to me and she says, Mommy, can I take the cushions off the couch so I can use the couch as a trampoline? And I thought about it, and I said, are you kidding me? When we were growing up, my brothers and sisters would always joke around with my mom and dad and say, we're going to pick your nursing home one day. You better be nice to us. Now that I'm older and I have a child, not so funny. Actually, that's a little scary. When you have 2, 3, 4 kids, some people have 7, whatever, it all comes down to a vote. Where are mom and dad going to go? Where are they going to live? And, so if you got one kid who remembers, she didn't let us date until, we were much older, and say, Snake Pit Nursing Home, get that checked. But then one of them will say, come on, Dad gave us all down payment for our first car. Oh, okay, Sunrise Nursing Home. It's a little scary with me. I have one kid. I don't have anybody to help counteract her negative memories, maybe it's spinach, Snake Pit. Maybe take flute lessons. Snake Pit. Not about a date till I was 17. Snake Pit, Snake Pit, Snake Pit. Now my husband gets a kick out of this. He says because his family averages age about 67 years old. Mine, we live to about 90 or so. And he says, I'm just going to be up in heaven, beer in one hand, remote in the other going, I told you should have given her a cell phone. I always wondered how the generations before us had so many kids. They didn't have so many things like we have, the modern conveniences. I'm one of 4. My mother is one of 7. My grandmother is one of 9, and my great-grandmother is one of 11. That's a lot of kids. And you gotta think about it back then. They had, they didn't have food processors and blenders and all that kind of microwaves. They didn't have that kind of stuff. What they had, my great-grandmother, now she had 9 kids, when she was during her childbearing years, she had an ice box. A little box with ice in it, okay? So, and then she had a hand-cranked clothes washer, right? And then she had a stove. She cooked on a wood-burning stove. And I'm thinking, how the heck does this happen? And then I figured it out. The dishwasher wasn't invented yet. Yeah, you're all looking at me like, hear me out on this one. This is a good one. So this is the way I figured it out. The modern-day dishwasher was invented about the late 50s. Most homes did not have them until about the 70s. And the 70s is when the population started to dip. So I took my little brain and said, it's got to be that connection, right? So what happens is that, back then they had the big cast iron pots and in my family, the big sauce pots and all. So, you got my grandmother scraping all the, my grandmother before, she looked like Play-Doh with a gobstopper on top, really looking good at 27. And she's scraping the pots and all that. So there's a lot of jiggling and all this wonderful stuff going on in the kitchen, right? So Grandpa comes in to get a glass of lemonade, takes a look at what's going on over at the sink over there, and next thing you know, they're going making number 7. Right? Nowadays, what happens? And it could be either one, husband or wife, I don't care, I'm not discriminating here. They walk in and they see this. Dishwasher. And they're like, oh dear God, give me a beer, I need to go watch the game. There's no kids happening. I also thought one time about why people, as we get older, and I say we because I am in that category now, we get cranky as we get older. Don't you people sit around and think about such things like this? No. I do it all the time. So anyway, I wonder, why people get cranky in their old age. And I learned why firsthand. I happened to be at a local college. And when on the campus, I saw this, I guess the kid was about 24 years old, good looking, nice build, walking down the hall. And he had the jeans when they come down, so his BBDs were hanging out, his pants were really low, and he had a hole in the back of his underwear. And I saw the butt cheek of a very good looking young man. And I felt nothing. Not only that, I'm thinking, does his mother know how he's dressed? That evening, as I ripped open a pint of Ben & Jerry's and stuck a spoon in it, I wrote to my congressman and I said, there should be a law that no one should be wearing their pants below their waist. Because if I was not turned on by young butt cheeks, nobody should be. And you all laugh at this, but isn't that what happened with Elvis? When he was filmed from the top up? Do you think the youngsters did that? No, it was the old people, the cranky old jealous people who didn't do that. How many people here have at least 2 generations born after them? So you have kids, you have grandkids. All right, good. I always remember that old saying when they would say, I hope you have a kid just like you. And it really never hit me until now. I'm thinking, yeah, that could be pretty sweet, right? I mean, there's got to be nothing like the joy of seeing your grandchild treat your child the way she treated you. And I'm thinking, I was a lot older when I had my daughter, so I don't know if I'm going to really experience this magnificent moment. I said, because, by the time she gets married and has a kid, she's in the audience. By the time you get married and have a kid, in that order, by the time that happens, I'm going to be so old, I'm not going to be looking for karmic retribution. I'm going to be looking for my teeth so I can eat my dinner. As a social worker, I do a lot of classes, and I've done a lot of workshops over the years. And one of the things I do is parenting education classes. And they go over about like a lead balloon. You just don't, not a lot of people don't come to them. So I figured I would read books, I'd see videos, and I'd attend a lot of workshops. And I did, to develop a parenting workshop that I felt was comfortable. And from all of that, all these things that I did, that's where I came up with this, idea of a comedic parenting workshop, because a lot of the information I got was quite funny. So, I remember one book, it said that you shouldn't praise your kids too much. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, I can see how that could put a kid right over the edge. Stop praising me! I'm sick of it! Right? And then another one says, you should be friends with your kids. Don't even bother. It's all going to come to a screeching halt the minute they tell you they want a piercing or a tattoo. I mean, really, what friend is ever going to discourage another friend from that? Right? The other thing is, and one of them said, and this one can be quite dangerous. This one said, you might have to, how do they phrase it? You might have to utilize a timeout up to 60 minutes. And all I can say with that is good luck. Because this is the way it's going to look. You're going to give your 12-year-old a 60-minute timeout. Minutes 1 to 12. They're going to go from being pissed to calming down, a little bit of reasoning, to maybe figuring out what they could have done better the next time. Minutes 13 to 60, they're planning your death. That's way too much time for a kid in their room when they're annoyed. There was another one that said, there was a video that said, and I quote, one should treat all of their children in equal measure. Oh, that sounds like a little bit too much like a one-size-fits-all. Folks, it doesn't work for dresses, and it doesn't work for kids either. Some people, sorry, my mouth is dry. I meet with a lot of adults and teens. I do work with a lot of teens. I do enjoy them very much. And sometimes I'll meet with the parents alone. And right off the bat, some of them don't like my advice, especially when I say something like, sometimes they don't like it when I suggest that they let their kid go. When their kid says, I'm out of here, I just can't take this anymore, and let them leave. And I said, Dad, how can you do that? They've got no car, no money, no place to live. But I said, yeah, and they don't have any place to go. So let them go. Why should you be the bad guy holding them back? Right? So I said, later on that night, when they come back after spending their $14 in allowance money, and they're done hanging out with their friends in the park, don't let them in. Remind them of the things that they're going to miss out on. Tell them that you will not be what's holding them back any longer. Tell them they'll be selling out if they came back for a home-cooked meal, a nice bed, and clean clothes. You will not be the albatross around their neck any longer. Then shut the door, turn off the light, and go to bed. The next morning, when you go to work, open up the back door of your car, wake your kid up, and tell him to get to school. And for good measure, tell him to practice safe sex, because he does not want to be dealing with this in 15 years. He wants to put that hell off as long as he can. I meet with a lot of people. They're always saying something like, I just want to be normal. And it's a big thing to say, I want to be normal. I said, well, normal is only relative to what's going around. Normal is only relative to what's going on around you at any given point in time. It's really not a really good thing that you should be going for. Happy, I tell people you want to be happy, but not normal. But some people do insist on that. But anyway, I said, because normal, when I was growing up, there was a girl that I knew that the normal in her house was to vacuum the rug in such a way so the nap wouldn't look disturbed. Well, I want to tell you, the nap was the only thing not disturbed in that house. And when we were growing up, right, it was normal to die the same sex you were born with. Not so much anymore. So it depends on the times of what's going on. So in my house, when I grew up, it was normal to feel like a giant. Let me explain. My mother saved every little tchotchke that she ever had. Like the little doves you get at a wedding, the little bottles you get at, baby showers. She saved it all. She not only saved it, but she displayed it, right? And then she would have, and then she would go into miniatures, miniature iron, miniature houses, miniature wishing wells, dogs, horses, houses, everything you can imagine in these little teeny miniatures. Does anybody know what those printers boxes were? You ever hear of those? With the little boxes? And they used to be used for the printers, they put their letters in and stuff like that. Well, back in the 70s, I guess, or 80s, you would use them, you'd hang them up, and you'd put all these little things in. My mother had like 8 of these all around the house. When she ran out of that, the room for that, she would put them on the credenza and the buffet. Seriously, it was like miniature city. My brother referred to my mother's place as the house of little shit. It was all over. It was normal when I was growing up. You had to take your coat off outside, because if you tried to take it off inside, it was a catastrophe. You're ding, 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 everything would fall around. It was not, you didn't say God bless you when someone sneezed in my house. You just said, I got it. They sneezed. I got it. Then my mother would say things like, watch out, can't you be more careful? What's going on with you? And I said, Mom, I'm just giving Daddy a hug. We would just knock everything all over the place. My cousin Joey, when we were growing up, he was into cocaine one time, and I remember putting his little stuff. I was only little, but he put his stuff out on my mom's buffet, and he, went to town, and a family of 4, a horse, and a wishing well never had a chance. When I got older, I got out of my mom's house, and so I could, have my own place. I could do whatever I want, and I didn't have to hear, what would other people think and all that, or so I thought. She would come over and visit, and we would, I'd do some of the dishes, but some of the dishes I'd leave in a sink when we go out. And she says, "What are you doing?" I said, "We're going out." She goes, "Well, what will people think?" I'm like, "That I eat?" I said, "Mom, where do you want me to put them, on the couch?" She's like, "Don't be so fresh." And I'm like, "No, seriously, Mom, who are these people? What are they doing in my kitchen when I'm not home?" For God's sakes. I'm like, "Oh, dear God." And I always believe that, you should give somebody to talk about, something to talk about. If they're going to talk about the dirty dishes in my sink, let them have at it. People are going to talk, you might as well give them something, right? Well, there was one time, about 3 years ago, that I gave people something to talk about, and I didn't even mean to. Here's the thing. I have an issue. I think I got this from my father. But when I'm in the morning, when I'm getting dressed, like this evening, actually, I decided on this outfit. Oh God! I decided on this outfit, but it took me about 5 or 6 tries to get this right. I'm not very fashion forward, and don't have a very good fashion sense. So when I have a certain day, it was a busy day, I'm constantly getting dressed and changing all that, So it was one day. I was the PTO volunteer coordinator, and we had the PTO book fair, and I had one person was short. So that day I knew I was going to be going to work, going back to the book fair, going back to work, and then afterward I had a meeting. So I had to pick an outfit that was going to be, fit all of this stuff. So I got dressed, and I went out for the day, and I did everything. I met people, I met the principal of the school, I met all these people, I met my clients, the whole 9 yards. So I come back, and I'm in my bedroom, and my husband comes home, and he says, "Babe, I can see your bra." And I went, "Well, it's a thin shirt, it's a thin colored shirt, And he says, "No, I can see your bra And I'm like, what are you talking about? So I go and I look in the mirror, and I had worn my black bra with my pink shirt all day long. And that's when I knew that I wasn't in Kansas anymore. Or I should say Jersey anymore, because any one of my friends, if I had walked out like that, they would have said, hey, what's with the whole Madonna thing going on? Not one friend in Massachusetts said anything. So I called one of my friends and I said, did you notice how I was dressed, today? And she said, yeah. And I said, and she said, well, I thought you were just, trying a new thing. I said, trying a new thing? I said, I'm 47 years old, not 27. I said, would you tell a friend they have spinach in their teeth? Would you tell a friend their fly is down? A 47-year-old woman wearing a black bra with a pink shirt walking the streets of Barre. It's the same thing, folks. Yeah, tell her, for God's sakes. I'm like, oh my God. So I called the PTO president. I called the PTO president and I quit. So there's one thing I have to read this because I didn't have prepared this, but there's one thing one final thought I'd like to add. There's a quote that I really like from a peace activist named Wavy Gravy. Has anybody been familiar with this guy? He's the one I think had said in Woodstock that we're going to have breakfast in bed for 40,000. He's been around for a while. Anyway, he says, we're all bozos on the bus, so might as well sit back and enjoy the ride. And I love this quote. It helps me through my most embarrassing moments, of which I have quite a few. It reminds me that everyone, at some point in their life, is a bozo on the bus. It helps me to keep reaching for whatever it is that I want, even if I make mistakes or I have setbacks. The best way to get through such moments is to love yourself through it. While life can be so absolutely wonderful, it can also be extremely difficult or painful. The one thing that's so universal is you can heal anything with love.